Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sorry for just a couple seconds late. I literally just sneezed like 8 times rapid fire right when I was about to click the button. Um, it's one of those mornings, but welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is United vs. Everybody. I am Sean, and we were here just to simply preview the Chelsea match this weekend, but United have done all week pretty much, have thrown a spanner in the works and have forced me to chat about a few other things. So if you've been hiding under a rock this morning, if you've been out and about, I mean, really, if you had a life, you might not have seen, but the club did officially announce this morning that Ruben Amorim is the new manager, will be joining us. So we're going to get your thoughts on that. We're going to talk Chelsea. Danny B already in the house. Justin already in the house. I will call you when I'm done here, my guy. Are you guys tired of me yet? We've been seeing each other a lot this week. I told you that the matches were coming thick and fast, and I wasn't lying. It's a match every few days right now as we round the final turn ahead of the international break. We just kicked off the era of Ruud van Nistelrooy with a 5-2 win over Leicester in the Carabao Cup, and we are hoping we can string together 2 wins on the bounce as we host Chelsea this weekend, right? Let's keep our fingers crossed. Like I said, we're going to talk team news. We're going to take a look at what each manager's had to say. Or I would have taken a look at what Maresca's had to say, but the press conference was late, and I'm not going to wait around for Chelsea all day. I mean, I'm not one of their fans who's going to wait around for a trophy. So we're going to talk that. I want to get your predictions. I want your thoughts on Amorim. We're going to look at the club statement, and let's dive in. So I want to first address the Ruben Amorim announcement. So the club posted it everywhere this morning. Like I said, let's see what the official statement says. Pretty cookie cutter. Manchester United is delighted to announce the appointment of Ruben Amorim as head coach of the men's first team, subject to work visa requirements. He will join until June 2027 with a club option of an additional year once he has fulfilled his obligations to his current club. He will join Manchester United on Monday, 11th of November. So again, like we spoke about yesterday, there was a little bit of that waiting period. We did pay a little bit of money to bring his coaching staff, but I think because we paid a little less, now we have to wait a little bit. So he won't be joining us until just before the international break. The club says Ruben is one of the most exciting and highly rated young coaches in European football, highly decorated as both a player and coach. His titles include winning the Premier League twice in Portugal with Sporting, the first of which was the club's first title in 19 years. Ruud van Nistelrooy will continue to take charge of the team until Ruben joins. So, like I said, pretty short, pretty sweet, concise, to the point, which I don't mind. I don't need a lot of fluff and buzzwords. But what are your thoughts? I know we've already discussed it on a few different videos today, but everybody has time to think and reflect and read and pontificate and all that funness and then there might be some new people in the chat. So if you are in the chat, let me know your thoughts on the announcement. It is official. I'm just always curious. I think the Gyökeres rumors have already started, but that was to be expected. Brace yourselves. More links to Sporting players are coming. And I'm sure that we will all be tuning in to Sporting's Champions League fixture against City next week as well. So I think we're all going to be Sporting fans on that day. But it's going to be interesting to see what the media has to say following that match. If Ruben Amorim wins, they'll still find a way to make it a negative spin that he's joining United. If Ruben Amorim loses, it's going to be 10 times worse. So we'll see what happens. You guys let me know. Hit that like button if you're buzzing for a Ruben Amorim appointment. Hit that like button if you are in some sort of belief that we might get a result this weekend, because we are going to dive right into the team news. We're going to dive into the preview of the match, and I want to get your thoughts. So Ruud had a few things to share with us in his pre-match press conference. He did begin the interview by letting everyone know that he plans to be on the touchline. He said it's going to be a short job as an interim. That was communicated very clear, and I was happy with that. I felt that I was called upon to help the club forward in this situation. I'm here as an assistant to help the club. I'm still very motivated to do so in any capacity as an assistant and now as an interim manager. And after that, I go back to my assistant contract that I have here for this season and next. I'm very motivated to stay here and help the club forward. That's my absolute goal. So interesting comments from Ruud. It seems like he's fully aware that the interim thing was just kind of a stopgap. He has a contract for another year after this one. He's interested in staying. Now, whether or not that's him kind of reassuring us that he'll be here, or whether or not that's him maybe vocalizing that he wants to stay, because we know that Ruben Amorim is bringing like 5 coaches with him. It's up in the air right now what's going to happen with our coaching staff. Ineos might just keep everybody. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go over. If you just sacked 250 employees at the club, you cut Sir Alex's ambassador role, and if you're going to have like a bloated coaching staff, I mean, I wouldn't want a bloated coaching staff and not to replace the medical team either. So it's going to be interesting. It could be a bit of an overlap. Maybe Amorim has a few of these guys around for this season, and then in the summer he kind of assesses, who stays, who goes. It could be anyone's guess, but you guys let me know. Do you think Ruud will be here next season? Do you think he'll be here the rest of this season? What about Rene Haka, Andreas Jorsen, Jelle ten Relwalar is the guy's name. You guys let me know who stays, who goes as far as coaches are concerned. Danny says, we're not forking out another 50+ million on a striker. Can't see it. Money will go elsewhere in the squad. I hope the money goes elsewhere in the squad, because you always can improve, right? There's nothing that says you can't always improve. It's just about prioritizing funds. We are a bit skinned. I am surprised that we sacked Tenhag after giving him an extension in the spring to pay that money, but then also pay money to bring in Amorim this season. That's big. And so it does show me that Ineos are at least very prioritized when it comes to on-pitch success and performance. And while it may look slow to us, I think that it's like a duck on a pond. It's on the surface, it looks like there's nothing going on, but below the surface, those legs are just kicking a mile a minute. And I think that's what Ineos are doing. I know a lot of people, a lot of content creators, a lot of media, a lot of fans, they cry, they say the club needs to announce them. They need to let us know. Like, the club doesn't need to let you know anything until it's actually happened. That's just the way it is. I know that we all want to know, but that's not the way any club works. Think of any club in professional football that like vocalizes and announces and publicizes every single decision that it makes. It just doesn't happen. And so when there's news, we'll know. There's not news, we'll speculate, because that's just the way it works, right? But Danny says, hopefully, I think he stays. The rest will go. So you're thinking Rene Haka, Jorsen, ten Relwalar. Do you think all those guys are out the door? I haven't really seen much of. I mean, the only 2 people we've seen more of most of this season are Ruud and then Tenhag. We don't really see a whole lot about Rene Haka or any other guys, and that's fine. It's normal. It's just interesting because Ruud, again, he's pretty much on the same tier as Rene Haka in terms of his role at the club, right? So obviously he's higher profile, and Rene Haka is infinitely more experienced as a manager and as a coach than Ruud. So it is a bit interesting that people were so quick to say Ruud's taken over, but Rene Haka is right there, who's been a manager even longer. Why wouldn't he take over? Very, very interesting. But we'll see what happens. As far as another 50 million on a striker, I think we can definitely improve on Joshua Zirkzee for sure. I'm not trying to just say I'm giving up on him. I'm calling him a flop. I don't think he's a striker, and that's just my opinion. It is what it is. So we will see what happens. I don't think that we're going to get Gyökeres, though. I wanted Gyökeres before he went to Sporting. That didn't happen, but maybe a more experienced striker wouldn't go amiss in the future. Someone who's happy to rotate, maybe like a Sebastian Aller or somebody like that can come in and do a job. We'll see. So Ruud was then asked if he plans on staying on as assistant when a new manager is officially appointed. He says, "We will see, but it's a contract situation that I'm in and my desire to help the club forward. So I can speak to you about my side of the story. And after that, when the new situation is occurring, when the new manager is signing and conversations take place, we have to see how things develop. I want to help. I want to do everything I can in my abilities, as many others do in this club, to fight for this club." So Ruud sounds like he's eager to stay on. Again, I don't think Ruud has his eyes on the permanent job. I don't think Ruud, right at this point in time, has his eyes on any big, high-profile job. I think Ruud is very smart. He's very long-term thinking. He knows what's best for his career. He knows that it's not going to be perhaps the wisest decision if he gets offered like a big job to immediately go and take it. He knows that he's learning. He's young as a coach. He's only managed, he's managed PSV's academy. He's helped out with the Netherlands national team, and he's done 1 year at PSV, and then he's done a few months at Manchester United. Like, he knows that it could be career suicide to go and take on a big job right away. But it's refreshing too. It's refreshing, because I think in an era where so many young players, they're getting hyped up after like a season and they want to go ahead and join a big club. You've got Company joining Bayern Munich, Steven Gerrard taking over Aston Villa, like Frank Lampard coming in from Derby and taking over at Chelsea. Like, why? Who in their right mind thought that was a good idea? It's too big a step up too quickly. If we're going to say that about players, we have to be able to say that about managers too. But remember, that was the era of vibes when guys like Gerrard, Lampard, Ollie, even Pirlo when he went to Juventus. I think people forget that Juventus hired Pirlo for a while. That was the whole era of former players as manager. I'm glad we've moved past that because it was not smart, as we've seen, but we'll see. Like I said, I was waiting for Maresca's presser, but that got delayed. The only thing that he has remarked on in terms of this weekend is he did remark that Tenhag being sacked has forced him to change tactics a bit, and he's been watching PSV matches from when Ruud managed them in preparation for this weekend. So he will be go ahead and doing some opposition analysis, taking a look at how Ruud likes to set up, and we'll see how that happens. What will the squads look like this weekend? So for United, typical absentees list is going to be there again. Euro, Maguire, Manu, Shaw, Malacia, Anthony, probably all going to be still out. Mount as well. I'm done with Mount. I don't know how he got a bump on the head and he's missed several weeks now. De Ligt got a flying knee in the head like he was fighting fucking Conor McGregor in an octagon, and he came back literally the same match. Mizraoui had fucking heart surgery and immediately came back the next match. I don't get it. I literally, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to sit here and speculate and say things like, well, he should be just fine. Like, I don't know exactly, but as far as I could tell, the only reason Mount is out is because of a cut on his head, like an elbow or something. So you guys let me know what you think. Eriksen did pick up at knock ahead of our match against Leicester, so anyone's guess if he's going to be ready for this one. I didn't get the team news for Chelsea because, again, I was waiting for the presser that was late, so F that. One thing I do know is that Sancho will not be playing. So Sancho hasn't officially transferred. He's on loan, so he can't play against us this weekend. So no Sancho. So sorry, Sancho FC. He can't play against his parent club this weekend. So the media won't have an opportunity to go in on us about that. Can you imagine if he scored a goal or something against us? Oh, in the mud. Clearly, though, Maresca is prioritizing this weekend's match over the Carabao Cup. They did lose 2-0 to Newcastle. He rested several key players in that match as well. So clearly he's got one eye on this match this weekend. A lot of teams, I told you yesterday, a lot of teams are happy to do that. City rested a lot of key players. Like I said, Chelsea rested a lot of key players. Like, people were, Spurs had a lot of youngsters. And like I was telling Dylan at the bar, like when when your number is higher than 30 on the shirt, you're never going to see yourself again. We're not going to see you anymore after that. But Chelsea have been annoyingly good since their opening day loss to City, and their only other league loss was to Liverpool. So again, not doing so hot against the top clubs. To absolutely nobody's surprise, Cole Palmer is flying right now with 7 goals and 5 assists already. The guy is just a fucking machine. Nicholas Jackson suddenly remembered he's a striker this season. He's getting involved in goals and the assists as well. Remember, he looked like an absolute flop last year. And somehow, I still don't think Nicholas Jackson is great, but somehow he just seems to pop up with these goals. Chelsea can't seem to stop scoring right now. They're actually only 1 goal behind City for goals in the league this season. And I think a lot of that I do think has to do with new manager bounce, which has to do with just letting the players play. Maresca has changed tactics up a little bit. And we saw a little bit of this when he was with Leicester. So he's bringing in a little bit more of a modern managerial approach with a slow build-up, controlling possession, especially in midfield. And we've seen that from a lot of managers so far. And there's a reason for that. It works. It works well, and it looks like it's working for Chelsea. Again, I still think a lot of this is new manager bounce. I do think it'll regress to the mean a little bit towards mid-season, especially during that holiday fixture pileup. I think we will see a lot of these new manager bounces regress to the mean. But Maresca likes to overload midfield with numbers, make sure his players always have passing options, which includes bringing the keeper up, splitting the defenders wide, and having like a 3 at the back that consists of the keeper as another basically outfield player. And sometimes he likes to have like a +1 basically in possession. Like many modern managers, this allows his fullbacks to also move into midfield. And in possession, they even move to a 3 at the back when they're building up, like we've seen a lot of managers do. What can frustrate us in this case, though, is how Chelsea tend to control the ball. Maresca wants to control the ball. He's obsessed with possession. He's obsessed with slowing things down, slow, incisive, direct passes that really just leave you chasing shadows. And they also press hard off the ball if they lose it up high up the pitch. They play a lot like City, a lot like Liverpool. They do play that gegenpress. Now, a lot of that does depend on the players and the fitness and the personality, because I don't think guys like Sancho are going to press too hard. But off the ball, when they do drop into a little bit of a low block, which is why they can press aggressively. They have the numbers behind them. So when they're pressing, we're going to have to be able to make sure that we move the ball fast. Onana's going to need to make sure he doesn't hold on to the ball too long. It's one of my biggest bugaboos with him. You guys know that. And then at the other end of the spectrum, because Chelsea press, because they want you to kick the ball long, Onana's just going to have to avoid just kicking it anywhere unless he's extremely under pressure. But he's going to have to be a bit more, he's going to have to think a move ahead a little bit. Doesn't mean he has to rush himself. He's just got to plan ahead. That does require a bit of footballing IQ, a bit of ability to read the game, but he's going to have to move the ball. We can't have him just dallying on the ball like he's been doing. Move the ball quick, get it out of your third, get it up the pitch. We also want to make sure we watch out for those third man runs, because Chelsea do like those third man late runs. What are you guys saying in the chat? Let me take a break here for a second. Danny Beast wants to go with Onana, Dalot, De Ligt, Licha, Mazraoui, Ugarte, Casemiro, Bruno, Garnacho, Ahmad, Rasmus. Very similar to what I'm going to go with. Darkro says, welcome, bud. How are you? Will it be the same lineup against, or should it maybe Xerxes out and Højlund? Yeah, I would definitely sit Xerxes out for this one. We're going to dive into my starting 11 here shortly. Darkro says, Maresca is doing nothing special, just placing the pieces of the puzzle in their request positions and not complications or doing silly mistakes like Erik tenhag. Yeah, and I think he's able to do that a little bit because Chelsea have so many players. I think a lot of their players are not as good as people think. I think a lot of their players are definitely not worth what Chelsea paid for him. Mudryk is basically the same as Anthony. I don't think Enzo and Caicedo are as good as what Chelsea paid for him. I think that neither of them can lace Kobbie Mainoo's boots personally. But so how do we beat Chelsea? Well, first of all, we can pay Cole Palmer's driver to make a wrong turn and take him to fucking Canterbury if we want to. I think, again, we need to move the ball quickly to help us get around that initial press. So Onana's going to have to keep it on the ground if possible, move it, one touch. I don't want to see standing there. I want to move it. Know where you guys are going to be. I wouldn't mind seeing a midfield of Casemiro and Ugarte again either, because I want to bring a bit of physicality, a bit of energy to the middle of the park. Eriksen's obviously very good on the ball, but I want someone who's going to get the ball back. There's no point in being good on the ball if we don't have someone to win it back. I don't think Casemiro is as good as that anymore as he used to be. Eriksen, clearly not as good. And Ugarte has been amazing. He was really good against Leicester. He was probably arguably my man of the match aside from Casemiro. Again, Chelsea's midfielders were expensive, but they are young as well. They do make mistakes. They make a lot of mistakes. Their defensive numbers actually aren't even that great. So if you want to look at how many tackles they actually make versus how many tackles they win, it's not good. Because Chelsea also, because they like to push those fullbacks up the pitch, sometimes getting involved in the 3, but sometimes moving up into that 3-4-2-1 kind of build-up, they can be vulnerable, especially on the flanks, which means they can be vulnerable against one good incisive ball. They can be vulnerable against a counterattack if you're able to win that ball, especially in those wide areas. So again, Onana needs to move the ball faster. If we win the ball, turn, find a wide player, get it up the pitch. They play a higher line. That does also mean they're vulnerable against the ball, a long ball over the top. They're vulnerable against quick, incisive balls. I think that one of the other weaknesses that you could find is that Maresca is overly reliant at times on some of their, I guess you can call them their better players, their key players or whatever. So if you mark guys like Palmer out of the match, for instance, which doesn't mean you have to stick to them like glue. It means you can press whoever's trying to pass to them. I think that could help us as well. Darko says Casemiro has to play more deep to help Ugarte and stop Palmer and leave the attacking to Bruno. I don't know. I think Casemiro showed against Leicester that he's doing just fine up in that opposition half. I don't think Casemiro can hang with a counterattacking with fast attackers. I think he's just a little too slow now. But his positioning, especially when we're defending sometimes in our box and things, he does read the game very well. And that's what you get from experience. Guys, Varane had it. Johnny Evans has it. Casemiro has it. He just knows where the danger is coming from, and he just puts himself in the best position. That just comes from experience. And so that's also why I've said many times that we need a good balance of promising, talented, up and coming players, but also experienced players. I don't mean we have to go out and buy more Zlatans, more Ronaldos, more players like that, but players who are older, who have experience. Like I've mentioned many times before, someone like a Nico Barella, Adrian Rabiot, these guys I think would do just fine. But I do think that Casemiro is a difference for me between staying deep and not rushing forward too much, if that makes sense. I think that kind of like Licha, like he can defend, but like Licha needs to chill out when it comes to rushing so high to get so aggressive in those challenges. Sometimes I think that there's a difference there. There's a balance there. There's discernment there to know when and where to get forward and not. And I think Casemiro's experience should lend to that, and he should be able to help Ugarte because Ugarte is still so young. So Casemiro in that pairing needs to be the one who basically knows better. It's like when you have an older child and a younger child. The older child needs to know better. Like Casemiro needs to know better. He needs to communicate. I don't think we communicate enough. But I wouldn't mind, like Danny B saying, just sit there. So we'll see how it goes. So how would you guys like United to line up for this one? Like I said, I would probably go with Onana. Mazraoui was a sub against Leicester, so I expect he'll start this one. I'd probably go strong with De Ligt, Licha, as well. I'm go back and forth right now between if I wanted to start Dalot or not, but I don't think we have much of a choice because I don't think this is a match for Harry Amas. But we'll see. We could see Licha on the left back spot. We could see Dalot rested. We could see Evans start. Could see Lindelof start. I don't know. The defense is a little iffy still, but Eriksen wasn't in the squad at all on Wednesday, like I said, and I haven't really heard much on developments there. But like I said, I did like the way Casemiro and Ugarte looked, so I think that works for me. They both look very, very well. I think they complement each other very, very well. They both bring a little bit of that bite, but Casemiro, I think, has a little bit more to offer in the final third. Ugarte's got, obviously, the energy, the legs to do the dirty work, which is perfect, I think, for what Casemiro needs alongside him right now. So I think they played each other really, really well. Danny says, we have no choice. Could play Evans, Licha, left back, drop the low. Yeah, we could. I think that right now I'm still going back and forth. And if I want to see Licha center back, Dalot left, or Licha left, Evans in the center back spot, and let Dalot just have a week off. Because Dalot, in my opinion, was doing this. He did the same things against Chelsea in that 4-3 bullshit result last season that he's been doing this season. A big part of why Chelsea were able to get a last-second winner is because Dalot did not come out to close down that shot from Cole Palmer. And he does that time and time again. It's very frustrating. It doesn't mean he's a bad player, in my opinion. It's an aspect of his game that he needs to work on. And it's not anything that is physical. It's just all mental. All you got to do is just be alert to the danger and then go out and get to it. It's not that hard. Danny says, Evans doesn't have pace for this game. High line won't suit him. Yeah, it's going to depend on, right, against someone like a West Ham or something where it's going to be a lot of long balls, there's going to be a lot of balls into the box. Evans is fine, but again, if you're playing a lot of quick balls into the channels and things, this probably isn't the game for Evans. I think that if we're up and you can tell maybe Chelsea are going to start trying to hoof it into the box, that's when you bring on Evans to just make those clearances, just clear the danger. It's all you got to do. But you're probably right in that one, Danny boy, so I'm going to go with that. I think that Casemiro's experience again and ability to make an impact in and around the opposition box is proving to be invaluable in the squad. And I think, again, Ugarte was superb. It's good to see Ugarte getting minutes and getting used to the league and his teammates. I don't know why it took so long for him to do that, but I'm not going to sit here and go in on Ten Hag anymore. He's gone now, so it's not really a point. I might actually put Rashford on the bench for this one and maybe use his pace later on against Chelsea's higher line and against tired legs and the defenders. I think that Rashford could be very, very good in that regard. I think instead of looking at him all the time as Rashford, maybe look at what he brings and say he brings pace, he brings power, he brings directness. If we're coming up, if it's later on, 60, 65th minute, Chelsea get tired, they're already playing a high line, their fullbacks are already going forward. That's when you bring on Rashford and you just kind of tighten the screw a little bit. So I'd probably go with Garnacho, Bruno, Ahmad, and Højlund. I think that Ahmad looked very, very good. I think that he looked very energetic. I think he deserves some minutes. And I'm not saying I'm doing this because Rashford was bad or anything. I didn't think Rashford had a great game against Leicester. I'm not saying he's bad. It wasn't his best game. He was just a little not as involved as I would have liked. And I think that he should have been. But we are very left-hand focused at United. So it is what it is. But you guys let me know what you go with. So yeah, that's my team. Onana, Mazraoui on the right, De Ligt, Licha, Dallo, Casemiro, Ugarte, Garnacho on the left, Bruno on the 10, Ahmad on the right, Højlund up top. I think that's probably one of our strongest sides, barring maybe Rashford instead of Ahmad, but we'll see. Let me guys know what you think the score is going to be. I'm going to get involved in the chat here. Danny says, Ahmad better keeping the ball at the high line. Ahmad is very, very good with the ball at his feet, which is different that's what I love about having someone like Ahmad, because he just offers something different. He has his uses, especially when you're playing against a team who's playing like a low block, a team that is hard to break down. His ability to carry the ball, and especially in tight spaces, his ability to get into the box, even when there's a couple defenders on him, that's what we need in those situations. Those are not situations where Rashford's pace and Garnacho's pace are going to help. Garnacho tends to get the ball on the touchline, and then he tends to move inward. But if he's getting the ball on the touchline, and then he's got 8, opposition shirts in front of him, it's very hard for him to get in there, and then we're limited to shots from outside the box. Ahmad, on the other hand, very, very good in that situation. So Danny's going 2-1 United. I'm not, maybe I'm just pessimistic. I'm starting to feel like maybe I'm just very pessimistic when it comes to this. So I'm actually going with 2-2, going with a draw. I think that we'll get some goals, but I do think that, Chelsea aren't Leicester. They do have good players. I don't think that their defenders are extremely good. I think that their defenders make mistakes. I think that, again, part of that is Maresca relying on the quality of the players in the front of the attack, guys like Cole Palmer. I think if Cole Palmer hadn't joined Chelsea, they would still be probably where we are on the table right now, because I just don't think they have very many other good players in that squad. I do like Nkunku. I don't think he's playing as well as he was when he was at Leipzig, but it is what it is. He's obviously injured for a while, and then Chelsea have been a shit show over the last couple of years. But I do like Nkunku. You guys let me know your scores. Data's going 2-1. I'm going 2-2 because I just don't see – I don't know. I mean, we have a really good defense, right? Our defense is one of the best in the leagues right now, but Cole Palmer, that Cole Palmer factor is just killing it. I'm just jumping on real quick to see if there have been any updates in terms of team news for Maresca, simply because I just want to make sure we're all up to date here. So let me check and see. No, guy hasn't even fucking shown up yet. I'm done with that. All right, you guys can check the team news later on. Did you guys enjoy your Halloween? Do you guys do anything for Halloween? I'm not gonna lie. So we don't really do anything. We don't do candy or anything for Halloween because I just don't want to. I don't want to be up answering my door every couple seconds. So we just kind of close the curtains, turn the porch light off, and we just kind of chill. But I was looking out the window a couple times. I didn't see anybody trick-or-treating last night. So maybe people are kind of finally getting over. Maybe people are just tired of buying, hundreds of dollars of candy to sit on the porch and give it to strangers. I don't know what to tell you. Danny says Ugarte needs to stick to Palmer like glue. Like I said, we just pay off his driver just to take a wrong turn and go down to like Canterbury or something instead of coming up. Like, I'm good with that. Just don't even take him to the stadium. I'll be happy. Maybe you just, how do we beat him? Maybe just with a stick while he's sleeping or something. I don't know. Cole Palmer is just one of those players who I think right now he's, for me, probably the best player in the league. But you guys see what you need to do. But yeah, let me know how your Halloween went. Did anybody go trick-or-treating? Anybody have kids? And it's November now, y'all. So we've got a couple more matches, and then it's international break. I'm thinking about a couple different video ideas during the international break. You guys know I like to do some of those fun videos. I'm going back and forth right now. Obviously, we've still got ranking managers post Fergie lined up in the chamber. I want to do maybe some Mount Rushmores, like Mount Rushmore of, managers in football, Mount Rushmore of players for people. I was thinking today, someone mentioned on one of my comments on the other video, and it was something that I was rolling around with, but I wasn't quite sure if I felt like it, because it just seemed like a little redundant. Maybe you guys can help me out. Would you guys want to do a video where we kind of go through this current squad and see who might stay or go for Ruben Amorim in that system, who might stay or go based on who you guys are over with? I don't know. Let me know if that's something you'd want to get involved with. I go back and forth on that one just because I feel like it's almost like one of those like throwaway videos that everybody does, but you need. Danny says, not Sean F. Hall. Yeah. Danny says, Franco Must-Antuono reminds me of Palmer. Yeah, I know we've been linked with him, Nipan. It could be interesting to see what our transfer plans look like now that we've got a different manager, different system. Are we going to go after the same players? Will he be consulted on a lot of that? Do you want someone like a Nipan? Do you want someone like a Must-Antuono kind of thing? So yeah, those are the videos that I'm trying to get a look at. So maybe I'll put a poll up later on today to see which one you guys might want to jump on right away for this international break, because of course it's all about you guys. I want to get you guys involved. I did get another jersey ordered for the next giveaway, so there will be another giveaway soon, and I feel like I'm so generous. I'm like Santa Claus, I feel like. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys getting involved and helping the channel grow. We are on the road to 2K. So again, as always, please don't forget hit the like button on the video if you haven't yet. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want other people to check out the video, or if you just want to show your friends what this idiot doesn't know about football, share it too. I don't care. But we are going to be doing a couple more videos for this international break. So probably going to try to have Dylan on, maybe Joel, maybe Justin. We'll see who's available, see who's willing to do the prep work. Compose View, welcome back, everybody. He says everyone should go except the new players in Ahmad, Kabi, and Garnacho. Everyone. You just want just a fire sale of everyone, just a full rebuild. We spent the last few years building. We'll see what happens. Danny says, count me out of the next giveaway, pal. Let someone else. Well, you did. To be fair, Danny, you won one of them, and then Leinhart's donated his win to you because you had one of the suggestions for the all-time 11, and he appreciated it. So you didn't win two, you had to, but that's down to Lionheart. So we will do another giveaway. But I'll do a poll a little later on today, see what one of those videos are. Like I said, Mount Rushmore of kind of all things football. So players, managers, and we might do the ranking the managers post Fergie at United. And then someone suggested yesterday, going through this current squad and seeing who we keep, who we get rid of, who fits in, who doesn't for Ruben Amorim. So that one's still 50-50 for me, but I'll let you guys decide. I'll put that poll up later and you guys can go ahead and vote, and I'll throw it up on Twitter as well. So as always, thank you guys for jumping on. If you weren't able to catch the live, jump in on the comments, leave a comment on your starting 11, your score predictions. Danny's going 2-1. I'm going 2-2 against Chelsea. No Sancho. Remember, he's on loan, so he can't play against us. So sorry, Sancho FC. But in any case, thank you everyone for stopping by today. Compose View, Danny, Darko, Justin. I will see you guys on the next one. And as always, hit that like button if you're buzzing for Ruben Amorim officially being announced this morning. So take it easy, guys. Enjoy the first day of November, and I will see you guys probably after the match this weekend, and barring any major announcements. So until then, enjoy your day. Talk to you later.